Virtual Ascension? What the hell did I miss in the chat today? That makes sense. All right, welcome back, everybody, to another Rookzer0 Draw Day. Today is a free day. I have no topic planned, so we're going to just talk and doodle. I did just release the new Umber Hulk video, so if you want to go check that out, I will put a link down below in the comments. But yeah, we're just going to hang out and do nothing today. I think that's the whole point. So I'm going to switch over to the Aggie. We are on the Aggie IO software. Rick, welcome to the voice chat. I'm really amped up today. Every time I release a video, I get really anxious, and then when it releases, I'm like, oh, it's great. So we're going to try to do that. I did also have to do a whole bunch of push-ups this morning for releasing the video, but that was also fun. So I'm a little ramped up today. If you want to join us in the Discord today, you're very welcome to join the Discord. I am in the voice chat. We're just hanging out. We're going to be drawing an Aggie for all of the Patreon members if you want to join there. And that's about it. So let's just jump right in, and I will push the right button. There we go. And yeah, let's have some fun. Pop this chat out real quick. Pop out the chat. Pop out the chat. We have Mr. Jonas drawing with us today. I got some, maybe that's why I shouldn't stream on Thursdays, because the garbage trucks are just driving around my house. I don't know if everybody can hear those. What are you trying to get into? What's going on? Oh. No, it's only on Fridays. Fridays is the open draw day. So tomorrow we will be doing that. Yeah. Jonah says, Patreon permissions. Yeah. Well, you technically bought Aggie IO permissions, but I don't know how much of my soul is collected with that. Then again, if I'm selling anything, I'm probably selling something of myself, which is never good. Someone asked, I think it was Jonas actually, how would you play a xenomorph character? That's a good thing to do, yeah. If you want to draw along in your sketchbook, that's great. I think that's a good place to start. Oh, do you have your own Aggie page open? Nice. That's a good way to do it. Video manager. So for the xenomorphs, there's actually, I can't ever find it. There's a Pathfinder xenomorph. It's basically 1-to-1. Like they're weird insect hive minds that have acid blood and spit acid. I would just use one of those as the base and then follow the Umber Hulk rules of making the bugs super scary and just build them out. Let me look at this real quick. Get shareable link. There we go. I need to edit this real quick. Check out the new video right here. Boom. Okay. Enter. Save. There we go. I've put the link down below. I will probably put the Umber Hulk up on t-shirt stuff. I guess it's not really an Umber Hulk. It's actually a Trox. So, Trox. I think it's pretty cool that there's not a lot of art for the Trox out there, but they are supposed to be, yeah. They live in like clutches of 2 with their offspring, which I think is kind of cool. Might be interesting to like come across a Trox family and just like, oh crap, not sure if they're gonna eat you or not. But I like that. I like that idea because they are so monstrous and bestial looking and scary. I think there's a lot of kind of like moose. Yep. If you want to play a moose, just roll a Trox. That's how you do. Moosatar. A moose? A moose are extremely mean? Okay. I was like, I've never met a Minotaur. I wouldn't know how upset they can be. You know how hard it was for me not to make a Mr. Crab joke in there? Mostly because his voice actor was also in Starship Troopers, and I'm just like, there has to be a connection. There has to be a connection. I tried so hard. Is that what happens at the end of the SpongeBob movie? Oh. That's funny. This. That sounds like he didn't get a good deal. That surprises me. I feel like Mr. Krabs would be better than that. Would you like to know more? I'm doing my part. God, it's a good movie. It's such a good movie. All right. It's a good book, too, actually. If you haven't read the book, it's almost completely different. Almost completely. Yeah. I think yeah, I think Halo and I mean that book specifically inspired a ton of our like current sci-fi genre, yeah, which is crazy. Starship Troopers, the original Starship Troopers, yeah. It's like I said, absolutely not like the movie. It's so different. I think similarities are bugs drop an asteroid on a place. That's about it. That's about it. The book is actually really brutal, but yeah, right. I mean, the weird thing about it is sci-fi. The Starship Troopers is sci-fi, but it's actually more political commentary than it is like sci-fi adventure, which is really crazy. But still super good book. Still weird. Yeah. Yep. It's a book. I own it and have not read it yet. Probably should. Yeah. It's actually one of my friends bought me that book because he's like, "Oh, you are so into D&D, you should read this." And I was like, "Oh, I watched the movie." And he's like, "No, read the book." And I was like, "Okay," and I haven't. I haven't yet. So I'm Matt, sorry about that. I will eventually read that book, I promise. It's queued up. It's queued up in my audio library, and I just have not done it. I have not done it yet, so. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. That was a tough one. That was actually one of my longest videos. Oddly enough. I think that did break the bank for the longest video I've made so far. Let me double check. I could be wrong. 13 minutes. It is the longest video, yeah. It's almost double. Yeah, it's double the length of some of my other ones. We'll see how that goes. 69 views. Nice. Hey, some of these videos are actually getting a lot of views. I'm happy about that. Thank you, everybody, for checking those out. That surprised me. I like. Hey, Mom, check this out. What am I watching? You know what? Never mind. It's actually been an experiment of trying to like get my own mother to watch the videos because she's super supportive of anything I do. And it's just like, yeah, I'm making these D&D videos, and she's like, oh, it's D&D, and I was like, okay. You know what? Thank you for checking them out when I post a link on Facebook. I appreciate that. That makes me happy. So, but I'm not one of those people that are like, hey, if you have friends that don't know what D&D are, push this on them. Like, I don't want people that aren't interested in my content watching it. Like, I don't want to force people to do that. So, yeah, I have had a few people comment things like, oh, I was playing my first character and I found these videos. They're super good, and I'm going to try this. Then I'm like, awesome, that's perfect. That's what I want to hear. So, absolutely share these with people that you think will like the videos. But I'm not worried about I'm more worried about gaining followers that are really into the content, want to participate, than numbers, because there are a lot of YouTube groups out there that are just like getting more numbers, and it's like, you don't have content. Your content is literally just, hey, get more views, and it's like, that's not good content. I want good content. But yeah, I did have to. I finally jumped out of some of those groups recently, and I feel better for it. So I hope that it branches out. Man, what did I do to this face? There we go. That's better. I like that. That's a better shape. Not yet. There's. I have the LFG set up in the Discord, so people can look for groups if they want to try to set up a group game. I'm not hosting any per se. I do have we did the one live stream video with Jonas and Jump Rope, and I want to do more of those, but I'm currently working on the animatic for it, and then I will probably start, once I have a good system for doing that, I'll probably start trying to do those, especially once we go back to, I might start going back to my other day job next week. Might be a little later, we'll find out. And if I do that, it's going to cut into how the live stream works. So at that point, if it becomes a thing where I can only do a live stream, if I can only do the live stream after a certain amount of time or only a few days a week, I'll probably try to make one of those a D&D day where I invite people to come play D&D with us. So that would be that's kind of my hope of where I want to take it. But currently we don't have a game up for the Discord. If you'd like to run or play one, please type your name and what you want to do in the LFG, and maybe we can set something up. Okay. Mm-hmm. If that's what you want to do, you are more than welcome to post that in the LFG or in the promotion page. Absolutely, yeah. Feel free. If any of you want to start a D&D game, I'm more than happy to host it. We do have some rules and limitations about that, but just keep it friendly. Actually, that's a good point. No, I think we're gonna have to update the rules for D&D games, but yeah, sure. I'll have to do some research for that. But up to right now, you can basically just, in the looking for group, which is the LFG. If anybody wants to play, what's the name of this game you're running? Wormheart Haven, huh? All right. If anybody's interested in playing some new D&D type games, LFG, go for it. How's the other game going? Did it fall apart? He's taking a break. All right. Well, sometimes that's okay. People need breaks. Ugh, that's no good. Sure. It makes sense. It always does. It's kind of a bummer when games take a little bit of a. I don't want to say like a nosedive, because that's not right. I think a better term would be like. Yeah, and things are a setback, and that's totally okay. If you're playing a D&D game and people are stressing out about something, or you're struggling as a DM, it's totally fine to be like, you know what, I need to take a week off. I need to take a week or two off. I need to kind of reevaluate what we're doing, how we want to play this. And sometimes if you're a player, same thing. Like, I'm not enjoying my character as much. I need to see if I can rework it, or maybe I want to play someone else. Like, that's totally fine. There are tons of ways to deal with that. And the easiest of the two is to just transition to a new character. Just like, oh, we have a dwarf ranger. Well, something's tripping him up, and he's gonna stay in the inn. And now we have an elf sorcerer who just decides, hey, you guys look like you need some help and I want to join. Like, that's it. That was the whole transition. You don't have to make a muss or fuss about it. It's just hey, we're swapping characters. And the few times I have done that, like in-game, like I want to switch a character, it's still really fun because both of those characters then exist in the universe. And so even if you're kind of done playing a character, that character still can be talked about. Like, oh, we need to go talk to the dwarf because he had all that map knowledge. And then now it's an NPC that the DM can use, or the DM can give you information that you can share with the party. Yeah, it's not the end of the story when someone has to leave a party, or if a DM needs some time to rebuild the storyline. Like, it's just, it's life. Some people enjoy that, yeah. Some people like playing characters that are based on themselves. Right now, I'm playing with Kevin the Necromancer is playing Kavan, and he's it's basically like a knight in King Arthur's Court. What the hell was that book? Kid in King Arthur's Court was the movie that they remade. No, it's basically someone from the future gets pulled to. Don't think it's Excalibur. That's another version of that story, yeah. Apparently, we're just talking about books today. A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. There we go. It's an 1889 novel by Mark Twain. Oh, Mark Twain. Kind of a douche. Anyways. But also kind of the father of sci-fi. So yeah. Lots of fun ways to do that. So it's a bummer that your game got not canceled but delayed, and I think that's okay. I think that's healthy. But so my rules, go ahead. Yep. I definitely think like I've said this before, if you do play a game within the Discord, or you have a game that's outside of the Discord, and you need to talk about it here, I think that's fine. I would maybe not talk about it on the live stream, especially because I am not reposting what people are saying. So if you do need to talk about something, like you need support or you need help, or it's just like, hey, I'm having a hard time, how should I deal with this? Definitely something worth talking about in the D&D chat, because that's what it's for. It's for talking about D&D. But it should be I think it should be in a public forum. Whereas this, it's very hard to keep this kind of as a public forum, which is also why I don't put the voices of the live stream chat into the YouTube, because this is my channel. So things I say, I'm kind of responsible for. I mean, like, I am responsible for the things I say, but I don't want to put that liability on anybody else. It's not, I don't want to be responsible for the things you say. And yeah, so it's definitely worth doing that. On the other end of it, my rule is always family, health, then D&D. Like, those are the ways things go. So if you have a family issue or you have a health issue, those should always circumsede D&D. And that includes, like, D&D is making me stressed out. D&D is not being fun. It's making me depressed. I'm worried. It's like, those things, take a break. Like, it's fine. And there are a lot of people that get stressed out and don't want to, like, I can't let my group down. It's like, if you are being affected physically, or like your physical health is being affected by it, or your mental health is being affected by it, take a break. That's totally legit. I know it disappoints some people, but I would rather someone go, oh, dang, no D&D this week, than have someone, like, really, really get stressed out. And I've had that happen as a DM. It's just like, I'm just not ready. I'm not ready for this next campaign. Like, I need more time. I don't want to freak out and screw this up for my party. Let's take a week off. And that's a good time to like paint minis and watch TV shows and just drink beer, whatever it is that people do when they're not playing D&D. we've talked about that before. Whatever what was the word? It's like beer and peanut night. D&D is just beer and peanuts. Beer and pretzels. Pretzels and peanuts. Trail mix. Got to gorp it up a little bit. I don't know what to draw. Like, I'm totally open for suggestions right now. I got nothing. We could definitely draw more bug people. A Zil. Is that XIL? Yeah, I think I've seen those before. Let's look it up. Everybody. The gray render, yeah. It baffles my mind. Oh, yeah, the Zil. That's a crazy looking. The Zil always reminded me of, like, demonic Beta Ray Bill. Draw Bert Gummer. I have put Bert in some of my campaigns because I think he's funny. There's a maybe you guys will get there. I have a bunch of like little side campaigns that I like to use, and maybe someday the Discord will get to meet Bert Gummer, and we'll leave that to that. When you say West March style game, you're talking about like the Diablo universe, right? No? Okay. Please specify what a West March style game is. Oh, you're talking about Ghosts of West March. Yeah. Hex crawl. Okay. So kind of like it is actually supposed to be like a Western, fantasy Western type situation. Yeah? Okay. Cool. Oh, wow. So you can play a lot of people. Interesting. So you grab... So I'm just going to reiterate what you just said. So you're taking like 30 to 60 people and you just grab some of them for a one-shot? Is that basically the idea? Okay. That sounds pretty cool. I like that idea where the players kind of decide this is the location we want to go, and then they make their own party, I'm assuming, and then they just kind of go out. That's really cool. That is a really cool idea, yeah. So yeah, West March is not what I thought it was. I assumed it was just a different Different setting, yeah, but it's an actually completely different game style. That's really cool. You said Matt Coville developed some of this, or is this a lot more your idea? Refined it. That'd be cool if you have a video for that. That would be cool to post. Yeah. If you find that video, I would say post that in the LFG and see if anybody's interested in jump in and start one of those. Matt Coville is a... by the way, when I said Matt earlier, that's my friend Matt. Matt Coville did not send me Starship Troopers. different people. Different people. Matt Coville is I would say he's a real world bard. He's one of the top DMs, I think, that's kind of out there right now. Which is weird that Matt Mercer and Matt Coville both have the same name. But maybe that's the thing. Maybe you want to have maybe if you want your kids to be bards, you just have to name them Matt. Yeah. Super good content. I've checked out a lot of his videos. Also really good storyteller, really good author. Cool stuff. Yeah. See, I've had that same kind of conversation. Whereas like Matt Mercer, I'd love to play with Matt Mercer if I ever get the opportunity. I absolutely will, but definitely not my play style. I'm very combat oriented. I'm very much into puzzles, like back-to-back puzzles. I love dungeon diving, and when I get stuck with a lot of like political intrigue, it's just like I'm not into this. Like I don't care. Like let's just leave. The city is under assault. It's like, can we do anything about it? Like no. It's like, okay, bye. I'm good. I don't know what to do here. It's hard for me to really figure out. I play a lot of chaotic good characters, and I do that because while I want my characters to be morally sounded, I also like the ability to think about each individual thing. So when I have to think about like the global scale, it's like that's too big for my character to really do anything about. So I really want to focus on the small, the town dynamics. Helping individuals is really where I like playing fantasy characters, is helping individuals. So I'm less inclined to like when a king is like, we need you to go do blah blah blah. It's like I don't really care. Like it's like I want to make sure my character stays alive, and I want to fulfill my missions. If those coincide with the king's demands, perfect. Let's do that. I'm totally fine. So a dragon dog. Yeah, Baldur's Gate is awesome. Dark Alliance is super good. Did you get a whole castle? I didn't play that one, yeah. Bri, welcome. Thank you. Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. I think World of Warcraft is actually having a problem with that right now, because they a few expansions ago they gave everybody like a war keep that you could do up. Yeah, your garrison. See, I really liked the garrisons, but nobody else did. And then in the next set, they're like, what if you just took, in my opinion, the worst part of the garrisons and made that the only thing? And I was like, that sucks. Like, I miss having a mine and like a fishing spot. Like, that's what I liked about the garrison. And so they're kind of struggling to find that balance of like, well, some people like this and other people hate this. What do we do about it? Yeah. So I definitely appreciate both of those styles of gameplay. I just, I prefer one over the other. So I would love to play with Matt Mercer. I'm not sure I would be able to handle like a full campaign. It's a fair complaint. I mean, I have not. I have not. What is it? Okay. Facebook game from 2008. Nice. No, I don't think I've played that. Gotcha. Oh, wait. Farmville? Is that what you said? Farmville? Okay. I thought you said... I was thinking of... still thinking of Warcraft, so I thought you said, like, Terranville. And I was like, is that a game that's not just... Yeah. I don't know. I think it does. I think my mother-in-law still plays it. Science! Okay, I'm going to... Hey, everyone, how's everyone doing tonight? Brian wants to know how everyone's doing. I'm doing really good. Thank you for checking out the video this morning. Thanks for tipping now. I will do some more push-ups here in a minute. No, we're just drawing. I'm still going to draw Bert, and I'm going to draw some dragon dogs, apparently. But I got to draw Bert. So, you were asking... I don't know what that is. What is that? Oh, dang it. Oh, the little robot things. I guess we could draw some of those. Let's see. So Bert, if you were gonna play Bert as a, I think Bert as a fighter or a gunslinger are perfect. I think those are great. You could argue that I don't know if Bert has a lot of survival skills. I think he's got like doomsday prepping. Is that a thing that that a ranger can take instead of survival? Is that a type of survival? Yeah. You just like roll the dice. I'd like to see if one of my caches are nearby, please. That could be a fun alternative for what's Bert's? No, Bert's got a kind of a hooky nose. We'll do that. There we go. Bert. Oh, Bird. You could go the other way. You could go the other way and just like make it a ranger with a worm pet. And go from there. How's the xenomorph coming? Would you give up? Well, I don't know. Are you still in Aggie? That was my question. Are you still in Aggie? Or you say you don't know because you don't know if it's good? Because I think it looks good so far. Rook, when you DM for people who play more monstrous races, how do you handle carrying things or interacting with things meant for hands, like doors and handles? A lot of the time, like a good example of this is I do have a friend playing a large Trox character. And we're running through Rise of the Rune Lords. Most of the maps in Rise of the Rune Lords are small hallways. So there have been times when I'm like, okay, you are very big. You can fit in this hallway. You can move 10 feet at a time. And you basically have to crawl. And if fighting starts, you are restrained because you are squished in this hallway. So a lot of times what they'll do is send someone forward. And basically like, okay, I'm going to hold the back. I'm always in the back. And then when we have to move, we have to be able to move to somewhere that we can fight. Otherwise, I stay here. And so, especially with doors, I'm not too interested about like doors and handles because I think in a fantasy setting, there's not a lot of like mechanical handles. Yeah, we have doorknobs. I don't know. Cats and raptors. Yep, those are the two reasons. I think bears can open latch doors. I think raccoons can open latch doors. Cats can open latch doors. Yep. I had a cat that could open doorknobs, so we had to lock everything. Yeah, she would jump up and she would grab it and then she would just like until it popped. Luckily, like the front doors were too heavy, but like some of our pantry door and the bathroom door, she could just jiggle it till it opens. So, yep. Mammal raptors. That's pretty funny. But yeah, so that's a thing. Whoops, that is a huge Yeah, that's a play style. You can do that. I've done that before in the past. Yeah, you could play a Deathclaw, just basically mini Tarask. Drop down all the stats. Goldtooth. So I ran into an issue I ran a little campaign on the side for some people on Roll20. I can't read that because it's underneath the chat. I wanted a less serious bad guy. Gave him the man a lesser big bad guy, evil guy. He turned out to be a clone of a Final Fantasy VII. The minion city almost killed the whole entire party. That's a bummer. I feel so bad when I actually had to make the boss feel like I'm bored with this encounter and leave. That is something. That's an interesting point. Like, if you feel like, oh, I didn't mean to wreck these guys so hard, but I can tell that the encounter was hurting their pride. Something I have noticed is, like, if I throw somebody that is too tough at the party, it's actually, it almost feels like it's more insulting if they decide to leave. I think it's definitely an option. I have done that. Just like, you guys lost. What up? And then like take off. But at the same time, I think there are other options you can do. Like, maybe if they realize how weak they are, they don't kill them. They capture them. That can add to more storyline, more options. Yeah. Let's see, what are some other options? Some other options you can do is, if you realize at the beginning of a fight that something you threw at them is too hard or too heavy, you can drop the stats down. Because that's basically your error. You're like, oh, whoops, let's change this. Like, it's fine to... Yeah, it's definitely something I've seen a lot of people, or I've had some people that will do the opposite as well. If you start an encounter and, like, oh, you just one shot at the boss, their natural instinct is to, like, the boss is way tougher. It's like, maybe this is a good thing. Like, let it run out, or change who the big bad guy was. Like, maybe that wasn't the actual big bad guy. Maybe there was another guy, not in the wings, but, like, thematically, you can keep changing the story to fit what happens with the dice, I guess is the way to do it. Because there are some times when, bad rolls just wipe a party, and you can just say, well, that's it, you lost, sorry. Or you can change the narrative to fit that encounter that just happened. Definitely lots of options. Getting one-shotted? Yeah, that will happen. Will happen. Mega. Yeah. That's I completely agree. Sometimes, like I said, it can be good to sometimes it's good to do that. Humble them. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. A lot of games really... Sure. Yeah, what do you want to say? Interesting. They wanted something fantastical. Is that what you're saying? Less down to earth? Or... So they needed, like, the big sign. The big guy just like, like the WWE villains. It's just like, I'm the bad guy. Look at me. I like that. That's funny. Yeah, but it sounds like they got a little beat up for it, which is no good. That's true. Yeah, that's something I feel like that just gets missed out a lot on, is the big bad guy, like, trash talking the party. And if you really do want it to be a challenge, like, it's difficult to balance an encounter, like, perfectly for a party. That's like an art form in itself. So I'm a big fan of putting bosses and enemies that are... I don't want to say this. I don't want this to come out right. I don't want this to sound like I'm belittling my players, because I'm not. But I like giving enemies a little more power than I think they should need, and then pulling it back. because I'm really focused on like I really want my players to have to deal with mechanics. So like whether it's the world you're sitting in, there are like triggers inside the level that they can fiddle with, and it's not just a like one-on-one slug fight with people. And sometimes those are fun. And when I want to do that kind of fight where it is just like one player fighting one thing, I will usually almost copy their stats. So it's like, okay, we are going to have a slugfest and we're going to see what happens. But otherwise, I will very much set up something that is a little like seems like it's too much, and like I said, pull it back during the fight and be like, okay, they should be hitting 25% of the time. I hope that happens. If not, we'll have to figure out what about the positioning can change. What about the movements of the players? Is this person in a good spot for them to be fighting it versus him just hiding? Because you could always, as a DM, and I've had people do this, basically like, oh, my character has a super bow that one-shots people and he's hiding in a hole and you can't hit him. It's like, why? That's not a challenge. That's just you killing us. Like, that's not fun at all. What the hell? So I definitely think trying to find that balance is really difficult sometimes. Yeah. That sucks. Are you playing? I don't think that's maybe. um, yeah. Oh, that's actually a really good point. Yeah, the action economy can make a huge difference, especially when you're at like level 20. That's super important because like the bosses can basically one-shot you, and a lot of your players have a chance to basically one-shot everything that's not a boss. So it is very much who gets the most attacks on which turn. Lower level, it makes so much more of a difference because even if there's 20 goblins that all can do 1 damage, that's 20 damage. No one has that many hit points, like you're dead. That was a bad example, but exactly, yeah. The kobolds probably, and so that's why I've talked about this I think a little bit yesterday. With, sorry, I'm going to reiterate that because that was a good point you said. What'll take out a player first? 200 kobolds or a level 35 Trask? I will purposefully put players and characters in the map that I know aren't going to interact with the players. Like, these 5 kobolds are going to just be doing something, and they are literally there just to screw with the players. Like, they're just running about or, like, reloading crossbows or, like, ballistas. It's like, crap, go get that guy. It's like, if they get to that guy, he's dead. But it's going to take their whole turn, and that's probably not the best thing to do, right? So then it becomes the players are now dealing with the mechanics of extra units without actually dealing with, like, their damage. And so I think mixing up the combat field is really important like that, where you have the big bad boss and then like sub bosses that are just there to basically soak damage. And then you have lots of little guys that are basically there to waste turns. And D&D does this pretty well with, we just did, like I said, we started the Mines of Phandelver. And I don't know how much of my friend actually followed the book, but they tend to do that a lot with what we've seen. Is just like a few little guys that you can kill easily, a smaller group of larger units, and then you're never quite sure, like, is this supposed to be a boss or are these just like mini bosses that we kind of need to deal with? And so it's really good to make your players think like that versus having one boss that shows up and just him, because then it's at that point everybody can focus on him and they're gonna either kill him or be killed. And that, so yeah. Yeah. Something else I've noticed is there's like a video game mentality of get this guy to 75 hit points and then they just leave. And I think Matt Colville has talked about this, the kind of the not thematic. It's written down a lot. This is a thing that happens, a trope, I guess, of basically like, aha, you've beaten me, teleport away, and it's just like that's so frustrating as a player. Right, exactly. And I think instead of doing it that way where it's like get him down to 65% health and then he can teleport off, it's like they show up, they shoot a lightning bolt, and then before you have a chance to engage with them, they're like, "Okay, take care of them." And then they leave because then your players are introduced, see their power level, and then know that there's something coming up. Like, we have to fight this guy. We have to get to him. But they don't get the insult of like, "Haha, I am so powerful, you can do nothing." And yeah, I'm just not a big fan of that. There have been like Mega Man. I think Ego Raptor's talked about that a few times. Mega Man uses that as like an introduction thing very early on. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. That's what you were talking about with the Final Fantasy VI villain, right? Where it's just like, I was just a kind of a weird dude, and now I'm the boss. You're like, okay, crap, that's scary. Um, we have, I've done something similar like that, but what I did was I had them. Here's the setup. There's a bunch of bugbears basically running like a drugs thing. Like they were supplying drugs to this whole town. And so my party was trying to find them, and because one of the players was addicted to it, and they're like, we have to figure out where this is coming from. More to it than that. Either way, that's what they're at. They're in this alchemical shop. This guy shows up, and he's like, "Ah, you found me! Crap! Okay." He throws all the guys at them, like takes a few pot shots at them, and then basically grabs one of the mage goblins. He's like, "Get me out of here!" And then that guy opens a portal. So like, and then that's his exit. So the players did have a chance to like beeline it for him and stop him. They did not. The second time that's happened, like this is a few sessions later, they re-catch up with this guy, and they're like, "We know he's going to teleport out. I bet." He starts whipping people into a frenzy. He's like, "Go get them, stop them, grab all the stuff you can. We're getting the hell out of here." And my party just like does everything in their power to grab him and destroy him, and he dies. And I'm like, "Well, that guy's not going to be fun anymore," because I had planned it to be this thing that constantly chased this guy, but they killed him like right at the beginning, and I still had all this story I wanted to use, but the character was dead, and so I was like, what if he had a lieutenant who is now taken over the business? And so what I did is I changed who he was. So it wasn't just the same guy but a different skin. It was a completely different character, and then I also changed the storyline of what they were supposed to be doing. And it shifted. It shifted because they did that. So I was rewarding them for kind of mucking up my plans, but at the same time, I didn't have to sacrifice a lot of my story because I feel like that's what naturally would have happened. The lieutenant would be like, yeah, the lieutenant's like, okay, this guy has died. You know, we're going to refocus. We're going to start being really violent now. We're going to take over this city. Like, screw it. And sure enough, that's what started happening. And then Shadows of Mordor, yeah, does this kind of stuff too. Every time you kill somebody, there's basically two options. Like, did I win? Did I lose? Where's the pecking order go now? And that, I think, is a good way to deal with that kind of stuff. So if you have reoccurring characters or reoccurring villains, I think that's a great mechanic. But you have to be careful with rationalizing them leaving or what's going on. Because at the same point, if you do, take out their stronghold and they teleport away, why were they at that stronghold? Is that not their base? Was that like an off base? Do they have a bigger base? All of those things can really make the story really fun and really cool. So yeah, but if it sounds like you're past that point of where, because are the players still alive? Actually, that's a good question. Okay. Perfect. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's good to just get those stories out. So, but yeah, I mean that's I think we've had a good discussion about kind of ways to avoid that in the future, or ways to plan it. But yeah, yeah. I think the best part about this is going to be basically when you get back to that boss, he should be really surprised that they're all alive. Just be like, "Wait, what? I'm pretty sure you're all dead." And they're like, "No, we're here." It's like, "No, I'm pretty sure I killed you. I don't. I remember. I remember." Like, really rub it in. So I accidentally over buffed a boss for the Necromancer, Kevin the Necromancer's campaign, because I added an extra character because someone's like, "Hey, I want to play." I'm like, "Yeah, cool, we can add you in." I'm like, "I better make this guy stronger than I was planning," and so Kevin is a Necromancer and he's evil. It's an evil campaign, and so I'm like, I'm gonna send a level 12 Paladin at him. That'll be awesome. I'm gonna do that. Um, and what I did, they were like level 9, and so I'm like, 3 people, they're really overpowered, they'll be fine. I walk into the room, and Kevin just like one shots a dude that's standing next to this paladin, and then Captain Jump Rope kills another dude that just instantly dead because they're both just these powerhouses. And I'm like, you guys just broke this guy. Like, he was there to make sure that people would be safe, and you just killed 2 of his friends. Uh, like rain fire right in the middle of the room, and everything just kind of explodes, and I'm like, oh crap, I just did 75% of all their health with one move. I didn't realize I could do that much damage. That's not good. Also, Kevin, you're on fire. And and so it became this like triage moment where Jump Rope, I think Jump Rope might have been downed, I'm not sure. Yeah, and so everyone was just kind of in a panic, and the new person that was playing was just like, "This is insane," and he's just like offing people left and right, and I'm like, "Well, this is basically done," and everybody had died except this guy that I just introduced. I didn't expect him to be a big guy. I was just like, "This is gonna be the captain of the guards," and it became this vendetta of him and Kevin the Necromancer just like wailing on each other because like they couldn't really hit each other with each other's spells. Kevin was still on fire, but he's just like healing himself for a ton of damage. His skeletons are swarming this guy. I'm like, this guy's got to get the F out of here. And so he basically just starts like running out of the dungeon, trying to escape this wave of necromantic spells and stuff. And Kevin's on fire, so he can't really pursue. And it eventually happens to where like he's leaving. Oh, that's what happened. He blinded Kevin at the last minute. He's just like, you can't see. And he ran. And then all of a sudden, Kevin now had this dude that he just had to kill. He's like, I have to get revenge on this guy because he lit me on fire and just like left me in this dungeon. And I'm like, okay, just, roll your dex to try to put the fire out. He rolled like a 3, and he did that for like 6 turns. And it's just like, Kevin was slowly just losing hit points. And at the end, he's just like, screw it. And he just starts like burning potions and healing himself instead of trying to put the fire out and like yelling. He's like, Jump Rope, put me out! Just trying to get people to... And all the while, this guy's just like walking out of the dungeon like, I'll get you! You'll see me again! And then he became this like favored antagonist that they had to deal with. And so for the rest of the campaign, they spent like, what's Eric? Where's Eric? Have we heard about where Eric the Paladin is? Like, we have to know where he is so that we don't accidentally run into him. And it was completely by accident because I overclocked one of these just random bosses that I wanted to throw at him. And so that's a lot of fun. Just being able to say, if someone leaves, like, that's a vendetta. Like, that's been done. So I think those are fun ways to do it. I'm not sure if many people use the idea of D&D, but I thought it would be cool. Let's say you're a villain, evil crime boss, and the reincarnation of Strad. At one point, starts to roll the bodies out of morph, transforming. He's the most powerful physical mental form, giant mutant bat. Oh, what? Basically, the idea is that the boss is low, it shifts into a full form, and then lusts into a bigger and better form. That's the Resident Evil model, or the Dragon Ball Z model. Like, you haven't seen my final form yet. Guff versus Rugby. And I've had a few people do that, and once again, that always bothers me because it feels like, yes, we finally took the guy down. Just kidding. He's totally full strength again. And really, in my mind, when you do that kind of stuff, it, to me, a lot of my players are really high powered anyways. So like if they walk up and they one shot a boss because they crit, it's just like, well done. That was amazing. So taking that away from them by being like, oh, just kidding, he's bigger now, feels, I don't know, it doesn't feel rewarding to me. Yeah, exactly. And so that's the other option is if you do like fight for a long time and then he's just like, ha 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 ha, I have my whole health back. It's like, that doesn't feel good either. So it's really, I've not done that because it's so difficult to try to make it feel rewarding. Like, yes, you beat him. Oh no, he's coming back. And to me, there are ways to do that. Like, I think Vecna, they did a good job with the Vecna fight, which is like, you can't beat him, you almost beat him, and now he's in his final form. Like, each of those are different encounters. And I think that is a better way to do that. But during combat, I don't know. We've never seen what's under the rug. Sorry. Yeah, that's a really good point. Spreading the health bar like as a planned encounter can definitely be good. It just has to be placed in a way that's not. It doesn't feel like, good, you've beaten me, but not really. So that is a good way to do it. I think that's a good suggestion. Going like they have a 100% of their health, and then just putting the check marks in. The only problem with that is then someone does a butt ton of damage, and all of a sudden like you skip 2 stages. It's like, maybe we skip 2 stages. I've had a few things like that happen. I don't know. Sorry, David's asking here what we've never seen what Rugby looks like. We only have Rook's word that he's even a goblin. Rugby versus Guff. That could be a good action-packed summer blockbuster right there. You never know. It might happen. If we ever run into Rugby during a campaign, Guff might try to steal something from the shop, and then they'd have to fight. Do you think Guff would steal something? Based on his storyline, yeah. Yeah, that's a very, very video game mentality of just stealing anything not nailed down. I have killed players for that, because they don't have that. Like they walk into a shop and they're like, that's a cool axe. It's 5 gold. Like, I'm just gonna take it. It's like, you have 1,000 gold. Just buy it. Like, no, I'm gonna take it. It's like, okay, the guards are being called as the goblin that you just stole from. Saw you do it. I have also. I definitely, whenever I have a shopkeeper in my games, I give them high perception. Not like so that no one can steal from them, so that it becomes a challenge. Because like I feel like if you are a shopkeeper and you're successful as a shopkeeper, especially if you have like really expensive stuff in your store, you're probably either A, really good at noticing when people are trying to steal from you, or B, have something in place so people can't steal from you. So whenever I have rogue party members, I always kind of like, what's your passive stealth, and what is your regular, like your best stealth possible. 27. You could probably steal something from him, but I usually give them like points in perception because of that. Maybe he's a mimic. He's a mimic of a goblin wearing a bugbear. That is legit, actually. There's the level of, what is it, like a level 10 character should be able to topple a government. Because like any wizard that can teleport, it's just like, I need 5,000 gold, and then we can freely transport anything from anywhere. And so it's right, and that's kind of I think that's the sign of a good town. Like, that's why there are really, really rich towns, because hey, we have 5 wizards. What are you punks gonna do about it? Nothing. Like, we're super rich, and suck it over there, people without wizards. And now we understand why everybody is constantly at war in the D&D universe, because they all want the wizards. Yeah, why was the measure? Yep. So that's another issue with especially with shopkeepers. A lot of people, every time I see somebody have a shopkeeper that is just like, I'm selling magical swords and I'm an idiot. It's like, how did you get a magical sword? Let's talk about that. Yeah. Yeah. And so I have a big proponent. I'm a big proponent of if you have a magical shop, you probably pay somebody, like the most powerful person in the town, to guard your shop. Like, if you have the magical capabilities to make magical weapons that adventurers want, you probably have the magical defenses to ward off those adventurers. And if you're like, yeah, Pumat Soul, definitely a good example of that. Like, he's pretty badass. Like, if you tried to steal from him, I think stuff would go down real fast. Yeah, he's just got an army of Pumat clones just waiting in the wings. Yeah, that's why. I'm always trying to put. We did that during the live play. Adventurers welcome. I very much have it in my mind that there are some inns that are just like, they see the unsavory type of people that are just covered in swords, and it's like, no, you can't stay here. It's like, and then they like look at the guards and they're like, meh, this guy might start trouble. Be careful. And so I think definitely, like, if you walk into a small mountain town that doesn't have any adventure taverns or magical shops, yeah, a level 5 barbarian could probably just rule that town, and that's an evil campaign. Yeah, exactly. It's like that's a legit concern, and that's why people are scared of adventurers. The alternative for that, though, that, like, the reason I will say this is because I have played a few people, or I've DM'd a few evil campaigns. One of the things that I have heard is, we're really broke. Maybe we should just, like, raise that town. And it's like, that tiny town, that tiny fishing village, yeah, you could probably get a total of, like, 200 gold from them. Like, they don't have money. That's why it's a small town. Like, figure that out. And so I think that's kind of the issue. Is there's a lot of people that can't balance how much value things have versus how much they would protect that value. Yeah. So, something to think about. But I definitely, as a warning to anybody who ever plays with me as a DM, I make beefy shopkeepers. You can absolutely try to steal from them or fight them. You're welcome to. Not gonna be easy. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, nat 20s are not I do whatever I want. Nat 20s are your best possible outcomes. My example for this is I'd like to use athletics. I'm like, okay, what are you doing? I'm gonna jump to the moon. Okay. Yeah, you can't breathe now. No, but so a nat 20 doesn't mean you get to jump to the moon. It doesn't mean you get to do whatever you want. It means your character did their best attempt. And so when people are like, I want to convince this guy to give me this for free, and they roll a nat 20, especially when they're talking to like shopkeepers, usually what I'll say is that's the best possible argument you've ever made for this guy to give this to you. He would never give this away for less than what he paid for it. Like, it doesn't make sense for him to do that. Unless, like, we need this item to help save your daughter. And then he might be like, yes, take it. Versus, you know what? We just met, and I think you should give me that. Like, Jedi mind trick style. It's like, you know what? I'll give you a pretty good discount because you seem like you're going to help the town a lot. Like, that's legit. Yeah, like a roll of nat 20 gives you the access to a quest. That's a cool idea. I like that a lot. That's a really cool idea. Like, oh, you want these for free? Cool. You know what? We can make a deal. That's really what a nat 20 got. She's like, you know what? I will now make a deal with you because of it. That's great. You're going to do this thing, and I'll give you all these for free. Yeah, don't expect anything for free. That's kind of a good way to look at it anyways. Yep. It's the absolute something else that there used to be the take a 10, take a 20. Like, I'm going to spend 5 minutes doing something, you can take a 10 or take a minute doing it, I think. If you're going to take 10 minutes doing something, 10 minutes to an hour, that's a nat 20. Because it's like, I'm going to spend the time required. So I have also let people do that in the past. Like, this is something you're really highly skilled with. Like, you're going to roll a 19 regardless because of your bonuses. So if you want to take 10 minutes and just tell me the highest possible roll you can make, fine. Like, I think that's fair. And so I will do that sometimes. I will give people the option for that, especially with like lock picks. Like, you want to spend 10 minutes figuring out this lock? It's a lock you've seen before. Sure, let's do it. Like, yeah, I want to take a 20. And then it's like, cool, you guys have to watch him do this for 10 minutes. Like, well, how is this going to happen? Now there are more rolls to take into account. So some things like that I will definitely do. But yeah, things like talking to bartenders, like, I want a free drink. It's like, why would I give you a free drink? I rolled a nat 20. It's like, I don't kick you out because you tried to get free drinks from me. like that's their job. That's their whole thing, is to sell beer. Or like, yeah, cool, buy a drink and I'll give you a second one. I'll let you try something else. Like, it's very much when NPCs don't act like people, it drives me crazy. It drives me up the wall. Yep, that's like a fun way to do it too. Yep. And that's really cool. I have done that in the past too. I think that's a good example of I will give you the free drink because you did this, and then make them retell the story, or make them maybe one of your characters is a bard, like rile the town the whole bar up, and then you're like, oh man, I don't want to pay for this drink. Maybe someone bought you the drink. Like, roll a 20, not to convince the bartender, but roll a 20 to see if you have persuaded the people around you to buy you a drink for being a cool adventurer. I rolled a nat 20. Was it a charisma check? Yes. Well, okay. That dwarf over there, he's looking real fancy. He's giving you those dwarf eyes. It's pretty funny. I'm a big fade to black person when it comes to, like, I'm gonna seduce the hell out of this person. It's like, roll your dice. Yeah, sure, why not? All right, next player. Like, that's it. It's like, I'm not here to indulge in your fantasies. So like, I'm. Yeah, even as punishment, there's some pretty funny things that can happen. Like in Rise of the Rune Lords, one of the characters in the first act, it says in the book, like, whoever is the most, if there's an elf in the party, this person flirts with them, like tries to flirt with them. If not, if there's no elves in the party, it goes to the person with the highest charisma, and it's like, okay, that's fun. I'm gonna start, like, make this character, like, really flirty towards one of these characters. And then later in the story, there's, like, one of the shopkeep's daughters will try to convince someone of high charisma to basically just, like, try to have a little fling with them. And that's a really fun encounter. It's an RP encounter you can do, but it is very much like I'm not going to go into details about this. like you two are down in the basement. Here we go. Moving on. So that's just how my play style. Gotta keep it PG-13. So, I mean, it's funny. I think it's really funny, especially. Yeah, I'm not a big. I guess maybe because of the people I play with, I don't feel like I have to punish players very often. And when I do, it's not like you've been doing this and now you're gonna get your comeuppance, because I feel like if people are basically abusing a system, as long as people are having fun, that's fine. Like, if it's making people not have fun, then it's something that you need to actually talk about. Versus the DM versus the player. I really try to stay away from that dichotomy as much as possible. I do however like to like Kevin the Necromancer, once again, undead. He is undead. we started with Rise of the Rune Lords, and so I did run that because his whole thing was like, I'm gonna disguise myself to not look dead. And sure enough, this I'm like, your disguise was so good that now the shopkeep's daughter thinks you're very attractive, and he's just like, oh no. So that was fun to pick him because of his specific character choices. But I don't think that was a punishment. Yeah. Sometimes that's fine. Yeah, I got the dragon dog done. I think we could probably, as a person that has worked a lot in retail, people that come in and ask for something for free is going to get a free trip out the door. There you go. If you came at me and asked me politely for a request for a little discount on an item, might be perfectly qualified to do that. Yeah, and once again, I think that's really the way to look at it is if people come in asking for like the insanity of jumping to the moon, it's like, well, you can jump at the moon, definitely. How now roll to see how well you tried to jump at the moon. Oh, you rolled a 5? Didn't work. You rolled a 20? For a brief second, you thought you might get there, and then you realized you did not. And you're fine. And you didn't hurt yourself by jumping off a tree. So, the only time you regret having 20 charisma. Exactly, man. A mage kobold? We can do that. I think that would be fun. Oh. Okay, where is this? Let me see this. True. Can you draw a kobold version of a bugbear? Basically just a huge furry kobold. I guess so? I don't see why not. Great. Is that going to be your new cell phone ring? Big furry kobold. Kobold version of a bugbear. Kobold version of a bugbear. Yeah, that'd be cool. Giant belt is always a fun one. Yeah, the little, like, the furry kobolds. They are just rats in Warcraft. You no take candle. When I used to play WoW back in the day, I named my character just random colors because I was like, what character is this gonna be? This character is, I don't know, blue and pink. Great. And people would run and be like, hey, I'm this basketball team fan. Nice. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? It's like, dang it. I've accidentally mislabeled my character because of picking random colors. So, yeah. I think Gold Tooth is a... yeah, exactly. People call you a pirate because you have an earring. I have a gold tooth. I think it's a legit name. I think it's a good name for a kobold, but like at the same time, I could see people just using that all the time for different things. Yeah, there's a pirate class. I could also see a pirate with gold teeth being called Gold Tooth. He's the one that's got the gold tooth. That's Black Tooth over there, and that's No Tooth over there. And now we're all... Dead Tom, real Dead Tom. Or was it Old Tom, real Old Tom, and Dead Tom? Those are my 3 favorite characters from Muppet Treasure Island. Dead Tom's dead. Long John shot him. But Dead Tom's always been dead. That's why we call him Dead Tom. Oh. Yeah, they just... Gold Tooth the Goblin all of a sudden becomes No Tooth the Goblin. And everyone's just wearing, like, gold tooth necklaces. There you go. I'm just... Or you could have been... You're welcome, Bob. I feel like if you were a goblin named Gold Tooth, it was probably because you would just steal anybody's gold tooth that you saw. Just like, hey, there's a guy. I gotta wait until he goes to sleep and steal his teeth. All right, Gold Tooth, there you go. Yeah, it's scary. Man, yeah, the Tooth Fairy is terrifying. I don't know why we think that's a cool thing to tell kids. I don't know what gnolls look like. Kobold bugbear. Apparently it is a thing. Yes! I did it! There's actually I've seen that homebrew exists. You should check that out. That's really cool. There are tooth fairies, the tooth fairies and bone fairies, and then you can use the bone fairy as your patron, basically, which is really terrifying. I typed in bugbear into Google, and one of my pictures is the second thing. The first thing is it's a kobold that's a dog, which is weird, but but yes, I like seeing the. Oh man, my YouTube search is just it's free and ready to go bananas. My search history is right. Well, actually, that's the thing. Like most of the thing Dan types in, it's like, oh yeah, that's in there somewhere. So I feel Dan's pain. Game Grumps, yeah. Fuzzy bugbear. No, fuzzy kobolds. Oh my god. I just found this rogue. Hold on, who drew this? That is the best kobold picture I've seen in forever. Yeah, there's constructs. Yeah, I think there's actually a lot of rules. The question was, how do you feel about mechs and robots and like mechanical creatures? I guess is a way to summarize it. The androids, nice. Yeah, Jonas said basically like, have you heard of golems? And that I think is kind of the key for this. I think anything mechanical in D&D is basically just lazy magic, or actually maybe the opposite of lazy magic, like long way around magic. So if you want to do a constructs, or 3.5 and Pathfinder both had a whole bunch of construct, like ways to build them, things they can do, including the Eidolons, which are basically, instead of building a robot or a golem, you summon them from the ether or from a different plane of existence. Yeah, I mean, I think any of the constructs are definitely viable. I don't have an issue with it. Mind you, as a DM, dealing with it as a DM, it's something you have to be prepared for. And anytime one of my players is like, I want to build X thing, it's like, cool, let's sit down together and figure out how we make that fair. Because really what you're doing is you're adding an extra player to the party, and then that changes the CR dynamics. And so if you don't understand what they're bringing to the party, it can break really fast. And it's the same thing with, I remember in third and fourth edition, people kept like, I'm going to have a battle cat that has a cannon on it. That was something one of my friends loved to do. And he's like, it's my mount that is a giant armored rhinoceros has a chain gun. And it's like, all of that stuff is in the book, so I guess it's okay. like But if you're not ready for it as a DM, it sucks because it feels really, really powerful. And that's really my issue, is that you have to talk about it, you have to be prepared, and it has to change the way the game is played. The same thing goes for like war horses. War horses on like a level 3 paladin are death machines. they just come in and they wreck stuff. So, yeah. Oh boy. I am a big fan of the missile pods. Go ahead. Let's take turns. Yeah, artificers. That's exactly what artificers are. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have any problem with people playing mechs. I think that's a really fun way to do it. My only... Oh, you made it... Sorry, say that again. That sounds cool. Go into that. That's pretty cool. That is really cool. Yeah, I like the idea of adding a durability system to it. There's a in Pathfinder, there is the summoner, the Eidolon summoner, where basically you summon a spirit fox into the world, and then that thing fights for you. And you actually go through, based on your level, you get so many evolution points, which, and it's a weird reason to call it that, but you can then use those points to say, my summoned spirit has a tail that can trip people, or I'm going to give it a bite attack, or I'm going to give it claw attacks. And as you level up, you get more points, and you can just, every day, you can kind of redesign your creature. There is a subclass for that allows you to basically become a Power Ranger. Or, like, I guess it would be closer to like Guyver, if you know what Guyver is. No, not H.R. Geiger. The Guyver. It's called the Guyver. Basically, you fuse with that, and you become... what's the other guy? The big metal guy. Megazord is what this is based off of, but what the hell is it called? The first guy that looked like Ultraman. You basically become Ultraman. And so the way it works, though, is you summon this creature, and it gets all of its physical stats, and you retain your mental stats. And so it's really easy to break the game that way, because you're like, oh, I have 20 int and 1 constitution until I summon my Guyver suit. And now I have 20 strength, 20 dex, and 20 constitution, 6 arms, and I can shoot magic missile laser beams out of my eyes. Yeah, and so it's not that far fetched from druids. Like druids kind of have that same base idea, and that's why I don't really have an issue with it. The thing is, especially with DMs, once again, if they are not ready for a level 3 player to be that powerful, it can feel really overpowered. And if people in your party are like, I'm a barbarian and I have an axe, and then someone's like, I have a mech suit, it's like, okay. Yeah, Bri found a picture of it. Yeah, Guyver. All of those things, like people keep. I actually have a lot of people in the thing say, "Oh, can I build a mech?" Especially in the Warforged video, and it's like, absolutely. Yeah, that could be a really cool campaign, right? Just trying to. I've said this before. Like, if you want to do a Power Ranger campaign, there's definitely ways to do it by the book. By the book, you can do it. So I think like trying to find pieces to the summoner kit or big Met suits, yeah, with especially now with the Artificer in 5th edition, that's a really fun way to do it. And that's how we're also playing it right now. Is like, yes, you can build a robot, but it kind of sucks. And then leveling up that robot or your ability to build it is the game. Like, that's it. It's just like, I need to find special equipment. I need to fight a unicorn to get a unicorn horn to be able to give this thing a laser cannon. Deal. And then the DM has all the power when you fight a unicorn, right? That's the problem that people I think run into, is they kind of let their players just do whatever they want without consulting the DM. So that's my soapbox for the day. Up. Exoskeleton cyber suits. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, are you able to just add player levels to the people you're fighting? Yeah. There are some really cool books out there called the Codexes. They might only be for Pathfinder. I don't know if they make D&D Codexes. But what they are is they're basically just books of pre-generated character types. And some of them I have are like, I have them, just give them all pack tactics. They all have advantage forever. That is what makes them good. Yeah. Oh, tactical superiority is so good. Because you, instead of pack tactics, you yell at somebody and like, you fight that guy, and it gives them advantage. Hobgoblins are great. I love it. Like, ah. On the same note, it sounds like you really with the mechs, because I think that's a cool idea. Basically, just give them all a few levels in Artificer. Like, they're all just technicians. They're all engineered. Like, they built these suits and they're doing that. I think that's kind of what it sounds like you're missing, is the added levels. Final Fantasy again. Yeah, that might be another way to do it too. The other option is that you start looking at higher level CRs of like Orc, Warlock, and just reskinning them as humans. Yeah, because that's not too hard to do. You could also just custom make all your characters based on like your players. Oh yeah, are you still doing the? Does this all have to be within the Adventure League, or is this? Okay. Okay. Yeah, then I think you have a lot of options to just kind of basically buff up the character, buff up the creatures. A champion. Like, you mean like the little eyeball monsters? Brr. Brr. Bright. We did. Where's that? Where is that commission? We had a critters. Critters exist in D&D. Yeah, Drake Riders. Like, that's another thing. If you can find a race or a monster class that is like a Drake Rider, you can just reskin it to a human pretty easily. I don't know what I'm doing with this kobold bugbear. It was supposed to be a bugbear, and I basically just made like a... I don't know what I made anymore. It's like, what part is the kobold? What part is the bugbear? Nobody knows. That's basically what I did. You mean like from League of Legends Ionians? Well, I mean, so the Ionians in League of Legends is just like, oh, we're... Yeah, with floaty blades. Yeah, sometimes you name things that are the same of things, but that's fine. What did you do with them? They're just like mutated by magic. Okay. That's pretty cool. I like that, where it's like a whole race of people is just terrified of magic. That's kind of how the... I'm pretty sure that's the isn't that Star Wars? That's basically what Star Wars is. Those cursed Jedis. Final Fantasy 13. Yeah. Okay, I've drawn some fuzzy alligator monster here. Right. Time is here. Oh, it's actually passed. And yeah. I just want to shout out. I want to shout out to everybody on the YouTube real quick. Thanks for hanging out. I realize now it's past our noon cutoff, and I've just been hanging out. So like, thanks for hanging out, everybody, so far. I think we'll continue this line of thought, keep going, and then I'll probably shut off the stream here in a little bit. I'm gonna finish this guy up, and then we'll go from there. So go ahead, go back to what you were saying. But I think we're tuning down for the day. Not radiation in world, but cursed magic killing everybody with the man. You know, that's actually probably more to real life than actual. Alrighty. I think that's about as far as I'm going to get with this guy. I think I'm done with him. So, it's getting really weird. Like, I just don't know what to draw anymore. I'm burnt out, I think. I'm going to leave this going. I'm going to go get some lunch. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out today. The Discord chat is still up. People are talking, so I don't want to stop you guys from talking. Definitely keep having these conversations. I'm going to end the live stream. Tomorrow is the draw day, the community draw day, so we will have a link up tomorrow in the general chat for anybody who wants to come doodle with us. Please follow the rules of the Discord. We are looking for, or we have some people looking for players. If you want to check out some different kinds of games in the LFG, down in the links or the Discord below. The new video is up. We already have some people wanting to min-max the game, so that's good. We will keep chugging along. I will try to get the Umber Hulk stuff posted to Patreon a little bit later, so you have your tokens and your images if you want to print those off or do whatever you want to do with them for the Patreon members. Beyond that, I will probably put those up on the store tomorrow or the weekend. I might get it done today. I don't know. I have some new commissions going, so we'll see how those go. And next week, we'll do tomorrow's stuff before we do next week's stuff. So we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. Check out the Umber Hulk video. I had a lot of fun making that one. Stressed me out a whole bunch. It was great. I love it. More videos coming out soon. And we'll see you next time. Keep your dice on the table. Have a wonderful day.